Randall Cunningham late.
In Philadelphia, they call that a butt buster. 4th down and 26. More importantly, O'Neal's play takes Philadelphia out of field goal range. And Grossman shaken up.
Sometimes when you make the great play, you know, you have to pay the price a little bit, and that's what Bert Grossman is doing right now. We certainly hope that there's nothing serious. They had a good pass rush that time. Got up underneath of Ron Heller, lifted him up, and then threw him away to try to get to the quarterback. Tim, as we talked about before, the Philadelphia defensive line, when there are good players, when there's a great player like a Reggie White, often the supporting cast is pretty good as well. And when you look at this Charger defensive line, Leslie O'Neal's a guy you expect to see in the Pro Bowl very soon. Of course, Lee Williams has been in the Pro Bowl number 99, and now this young kid, Grossman, comes in and does a great job for him.
This defense this year for Dan Henning has gone beyond the call of duty. As a matter of fact, San Diego ranks number 1 in the NFL at stopping teams inside the 20-yard line. And they've just done it again. We mentioned that Philadelphia trails the Giants, and you saw the Giants score. And Philly has the second easiest schedule in the NFL the rest of the season.
Yeah, but I think that's a mirage. You know, you look at those teams in Washington, Minnesota. Granted, Dallas may be a little bit easy, but they got to go back to the Giants again, and they got Dallas one more time. New Orleans is not going to be a cakewalk for them by any stretch of the imagination. And then you finish up in Phoenix, where it's going to be about 90 degrees.
But as Grossman comes off, statistics are a mirage. But the NFL gives them to us, and we reiterate them. Telchik to punt. Wayne Walker standing at his own 10. Telchik will certainly try to pooch this one. He does. It's a high kick. And will be fair caught and fumbled at the 20. They're going to call it a muff, and it will be San Diego's ball. Well, that one will certainly be talked about for a while. Reichenbach fell on it after Walker muffed it. And they're going to give it to Philadelphia now.
The only thing is, on the muff, you can't advance it if you're the defense if you're coming down on coverage. You see right here, Walker clearly muffs the ball up, tries to get in position to feel it, and just simply kicks off of his knee right there, and Reichenbach alertly falls on the football. You can't advance it, but it's Philadelphia's football on the play.
That's the kind of play that'll keep you at 2 and 6 or worse. First down, Philadelphia, the ball at the 19, and again the defense will be tested. Chargers lead it by 7. 12:04 remaining first half. Drummond loses a yard, and there's a flag. Hinkle and O'Neal made the stop. We'll wait to see what the penalty flag is. It's against the Eagles.
Ruling is forward progress was stopped. We have holding on number 88 offense.
Well, turnaround is fair play. Keith Jackson was held moments ago. Now he holds.
Now you see the NFL turnover ratio for the Philadelphia Eagles. They are plus 14, which makes them number 1 in the National Football League. One of the things that Buddy Ryan coaches is telling his defense to strip the football when you're making tackles and that kind of thing, because that's the way you come up with those turnovers. It's something that he learned at Minnesota when he was an assistant coach there.
Third penalty for Philadelphia, 35 yards. First down for Cunningham. Has the completion to Byers inside the 20, breaks the tackle to the 13-yard line. Finally, Gary Plummer stops him. Plummer's the leading tackler. It's a gain of 16.
Keith Byers made a nice escape that time from Vincey Glenn, number 25, who had the coverage downfield of safety. And watch Randall Cunningham. We talked about how the quarterback needs a little time to get his vision downfield. This time he gets that opportunity from his offensive line, and boy, does Randall Cunningham deliver. Keith Byers wide open downfield. You see there, right there, he pulled away from Vincey Glenn. That's that kind of thing that Keith Byers gives you, that extra little dimension. Soft hands and a good runner after he catches the ball downfield.
Second and 4. Byers twists and turns and stumbles down to the 7-yard line.
Tim, this is the kind of game that offensive linemen love. You know, you get a little blood in there, you get a little beat up, but it's all one-on-one blocking. See who's the best guy. You're the guy across the line of scrimmage from you, particularly when you go back to that running game. You just line it up and blast it out.
So the rules of the game, straight ahead, no fair dodging. First and goal at the 8 for Philadelphia. Byers and Drummond in the backfield. This is Byers. Inside the 5 to the 1. There's a flag.
It's going to be on Mike Shad. Mike Shad came down blocking, and they call the holding penalty on.
Number 79, offense, 10 yards, still first down.
Mike Shad is a second-year pro out of Queens, Canada. Plan B free agent, acquired from the Rams. You saw that's the 4th penalty against the Eagles for 45 yards, 3 of them for holding.
And you don't mind if you get a holding penalty on a passing play because you can kind of understand that, but on a running play where people are twisting away from you many times, you get locked up, and if the defensive man pulls away from you, you just can't understand how can you get a holding call then.
First and goal at the 18. Ball's loose. Chargers got it. Defense.
Well, the case here is Randall Cunningham never really got the football from center. You see him fumbling it as soon as he pulls out. Now he's chasing it on the ground, and nobody from the Eagles seems to know that the ball's on the ground, bouncing around.
They went all the way down to the 8 and came away with no points.
Well, when you expect to be a division champion, you can't do things like that. Go down to the goal line and then fumble the football. Those are the kinds of things that will drive coaches to the crazy house. Buddy Ryan's probably pulling his hair out now.
Tim Brand along with Dan Jiggets. First down Chargers at the 25. And Marion Butts doesn't get much. Mike Pitts tagged him immediately.
There's a flag, a late flag on the play because there was some pushing and shoving going on down there.
I think we may have a lot of that today.
Maybe they just wanted to scare him a little bit with the flag. Get him to stop.
I think if anything like that helps a team, it would help a team that's been struggling like San Diego. Get them fired up.
Get after some people a little bit. Jerome Brown is one of those guys in the defensive line of the Eagles that will definitely mix things up in the middle.
He'll talk a little bit, too. Second down and 9. McMahon 4 for 11, 44 yards. Started very strongly, but he's missed his last 3. Hits this one, and Cox will lose yardage. He'll also get hit about 5 times before he goes down. He's still not down.
Well, the ball was stripped, and Andre Waters ran into the end zone with a football. He thought he had the play, but they ruled that Cox was down when Seth Joyner hit him. See Andre there in the end zone. He thinks he found a little gold nugget out there.
Arthur Cox is 6'2", 277 pounds, 7-year veteran out of USC.
Came out to practice the other day, and we were wondering what he had on his face because he had some kind of cream on, and the PR guy tells me, he says, oh, he just wears a facial to practice every now and then. Likes to be a little different.
I want to tell you, that's one of the strangest practices I've ever seen. Weather was perfect. Billy Joe Tolliver was hitting wedge shots on one side. McMahon was catching baseballs on the other side. And Cox was getting a facial. Third down and 11. Again, there's a flag, and McMahon is taken down by Mike Pitts.
What happened on the play? Arthur Cox left early on the play. We'll have offsides on him.
Illegal motion, number 88, offense, decline. 4th down.
Yeah, you always take the sack in that situation, but Mike Pitts in here blasts through that offensive line of the Chargers and gets the sack on Jim McMahon. And, of course, you'll take the sack any day over the penalty. And if you talk to Mike Pitts, he says, hey, man, those are my stats. Don't mess around with that. Nice rush in there. Just simply beats Richards on the play and gets the sack.
Lissick will be standing at his own